ethical, social, and political issues raised an information system are information rights and obligations, accountability and control, system quality of life, and property rights and obligations. Information technology is introducing changes for which laws and rules of acceptable conduct have not yet been developed. Increasing computing power, storage, and networking capabilities, the Internet, expand the reach of individual and organizational actions and magnify their impacts. The ease and anonymity with which information is now communicated, copied, and manipulated in online environments pose new challenges of privacy and intellectual property. The key technological trends that heighten ethical issues are: computing power doubles every 18 months. More organizations depend on computer systems for critical operations. Rapidly declining data storage cost. Organizations can easily maintain detailed databases on individuals. Data analysis advances. Companies can analyze vast quantities of data gathered on individuals to develop detailed profiles of individual behavior. Networking advances on the Internet. Copying data from one location to another and accessing personal data from remote locations are much easier. Non-obvious relationship awareness or NORA technology can take information about people from disparate sources and find obscure, non-obvious relationships. It might discover, for example, that an applicant for a job at a casino shares a telephone number with an unknown criminal and issue an alert to the hiring manager. NORA technology scans data and extracts information as the data are being generated. For example, instantly discover a man at an airline ticket counter who shares a phone number with a known terrorist before that person boards an airplane. The technology is considered a valuable tool for homeland security but does have privacy implications because it can provide such a detailed picture of the activities and associations of a single individual. The 6 ethical principles for judging conduct include the Golden Rule, Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative, Descartes' rule on or change, the utilitarian principle, the risk aversion principle, and the ethical no free lunch rule. These principles should be used in conjunction with an ethical analysis. Ethical choices are decisions made by individuals who are responsible for the consequences of their actions. Responsibility is a key element of ethical action. Responsibility means that you accept the potential costs, duties, and obligations for the decisions you made. Accountability is a feature of systems and social institutions. It means that mechanisms are in place to determine who took responsible action and who is responsible. The 5 steps in an ethical analysis are: identify and describe clearly the facts, finding out who did, whom, and where, and how. In many instances, you will be surprised at the errors in the initially reported facts, and often you will find that simply getting the facts straight helps define the solution. It also helps to get the opposing parties involved in an ethical dilemma to agree on the facts. Number 2, define the conflict or dilemma and identify the higher order values involved. Typically, an ethical issue involves a dilemma, 2 diametrically opposed courses of action that support worthwhile values. For example, the chapter ending case study illustrates 2 competing values: the need to protect citizens from terrorists and the need to protect individual privacy. Number 3, identify the stakeholders. Every ethical, social, and political issue has stakeholders, players in the game, who have an interest in the outcome, who have invested in the situation and usually have vocal opinions. Number 4, identify the options that you can reasonably take. You may find that none of the options satisfy all the interests involved. that some options do a better job than others. Sometimes arriving at a good or ethical solution may not always be a balancing of consequences to stakeholders. Number 5, identify the potential consequences of your options. Some options may be ethically correct but disastrous from other points of view. Other options may work in one instance but not in other similar instances. The golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Putting yourself into the place of others and thinking of yourself as the object of the decision can help you think about fairness in decision making. Number 2, if an action is not right for everyone to take, it is not right for anyone. That was Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. Number 3, if an action cannot be taken repeatedly, it is not right to take at all. Descartes' rule of change. This is the slippery slope rule. An action may bring about a small change now that is acceptable, but if repeated would bring unacceptable changes in the long run. Number 4, the utilitarian principle. Take the action that achieves the higher or greater value. This rule assumes you can prioritize values in a rank order and understand the consequences of various courses of actions. Number 5, the risk aversion principle. Take the action that produces the least harm or least cost. Number 6, the ethical no-free lunch rule. All tangible objects are assumed owned by someone else unless specifically declared otherwise.